Okay, I don't know if I'm live yet or not. Looks like maybe. Oh, man. Alright, I don't know if you can see. I am sitting on a stool that revolves. Oh, there's the light. I am in storm shelter. Guess nobody's here yet, though. I'll wait and see. Um, so, yeah, I guess we're going to wait and see if anybody shows up. Um, okay. Don't know if that interrupted it or not, but we'll see. Yeah, I'm just sitting on a stool in the storm shelter. It's dark. Got the tire walls behind me, and the block wall over there. And the light over there, so that I can block that out, and it is shining on the wall. So I don't know if anybody's going to join this or not. But let's see. Okay. Messenger notifications, huh? Well, nobody's joined so far. So, but I'm sure some people will view this later. So I am going to go ahead and start talking. There's the culvert pipe in the storm shelter. I did not get a form built around that for the first concrete pour. I need to get another concrete pour done though. There's somebody. Hey, sweetheart. All right. Did you link the live stream or share it anywhere? First off, can you even hear me? I guess you can hear me. Yeah. Okay. So I know you know, but for anybody else that watches the live later or joins, we got materials to build a chicken coop today for free. We I saw an ad on Craigslist for a barn that was falling down and could be salvaged, and I guess the ad was several days old, so somebody else had beaten us to it and already gotten most of the barn tin. But there was a good amount left, and some of the poles were left, and some of the other lumber. So we went and salvaged a pickup load of barn tin and a bunch of like 1x8s, 1x10s. Um, at least the ones that were short enough to fit in the pickup truck. There were several that were 16, 20 feet long, and I'm going to take the trailer out there for those. And that's the plan for some other time. But yeah, right now, well, but today we were able to salvage enough to at least get a chicken coop built. I haven't gotten started building it yet because I needed to get. Thank you for sharing that. Anyways, needed to get some posts because I'm actually going to anchor the chicken coop right into the ground and make a little run attached to it just uphill from my orchard. And so the chickens that stay in that chicken coop, I figure that'd be a place where we can collect eggs from, have get some clean nest box, have chickens in there that we can contain and control a little better, and then still have a flock that free ranges, but keep at least a small flock in a coop and run. Um, yeah, but I wanted to get the cedar post to be able to put the four corners of the chicken coop into the ground. And so I went and did that today after salvaging the barn tin and wood. Um, yeah, I didn't want to walk up onto the top of the tire wall. I'm sitting here where the lights are. So, yeah, I hadn't started talking about the buttresses or the concrete columns yet, or what happened with that. There's the outside of them. They all got formed up, except for the column I was going to build right here. I was going to build a column that comes out about 5 inches from the block wall, plumb on the outside, and obviously the tire wall part on this side. And I was going to build about 30 inches wide, so that there's plenty of room on either side of the cooling tube, with a square box around the cooling tube of treated lumber, so that concrete doesn't cover the end of the cooling tube or go in it, and then it leaves me a square box to build a door to close it up with. But we got more concrete pours coming. I haven't got it ordered yet, but we're going to order one for next week when we can. We got rain every day the rest of this week, so concrete's off the table until we get a couple of dry days. So probably Tuesday or Wednesday afternoon before we get another concrete pour. But what happened was we had concrete scheduled yesterday at 11, and there had been a little bit of drizzling rain early in the morning, not bad, nothing to speak of. But about 10:15, 10:20, somewhere in there, about 40, about 40 minutes or so before the concrete showed up, we got a downpour. It poured for about 15 minutes, dumped 3/4 of an inch in 15 minutes. It just made everything slippery and muddy, and the concrete truck could not back up the little bit of an incline to where it needed to get to pour the concrete. He tried about 6 or 7 times to back up to it, and it was slipping and sliding sideways. And so we just decided we were going to use the wheelbarrow, and we did that for over an hour, just putting the concrete in the wheelbarrow, wheeling the wheelbarrow through the mud and slop, trying to dump it into the buttresses. And it got to the point where the concrete was getting too thick, even with, it looked like the truck was going to tip at one point, because he kind of got on an incline a bit. But yeah, the concrete truck couldn't back up to where we needed him, and so we moved concrete with the wheelbarrow for, like I said, almost an hour, and we moved over 2 yards of concrete, or around 2 yards. We had a 4-yard pour, so we did not get these buttresses filled. That one got a little over 1/3 of the way filled up. This other buttress over here, sorry about the light, block it. That buttress, a little less than 1/3 of the way filled, and the buttress on the west side of the wall, the west wall, where the block wall and the tire wall meet, got a little bit over halfway filled up. And then at that point, the concrete was starting to set in the truck, and it was getting too thick, and we needed to get it out of the truck, and needed to, that and the the main reason that this buttress here didn't get filled up is it was starting to push the form away from the wall. You can see there's a gap big enough I can get my finger in there, and that shouldn't happen. So it was pushing these blocks down here out when we would pour concrete in. So we stopped on that one. We went over to this one, and once it got about a third of the way full, it started doing the same thing. So then we went to the other one. I guess there's not much light over there, but I could kind of show you. This one wasn't doing that on this side of the wall, but on the other side of the wall, it was starting to push out from the block wall. This side, it was braced up a lot better and didn't move much at all. It didn't move at all. So this one's a little over half full. See, hollow there, solid there. So somewhere in this area is the level of concrete. And yeah, so we've got another concrete pour we got to do next week, another 3 yards of concrete to finish these buttresses, but got to make sure we have no rain, because that 10 to 15 minute rainstorm messed us up. So anyways, what we ended up doing with the concrete was putting it out by our gate where we had a puddle that just every time it rains it would fill up. It was a low spot, and we just filled it in with concrete and smoothed it off. So we got a concrete entrance at the gate. I don't know, we'll leave it like that. It's better than it was, but we're still going to need gravel for the driveway. But yeah, we ended up putting almost 2 yards of concrete there because we just couldn't get it where we needed it with that rain, which sucks because it was $150 a yard. Wasted 2 yards of concrete. It's $300 just down the drain. But other than that, like, there's been ups and downs this last week. The concrete didn't go as planned, but some of it got done, and I had my neighbor over here helping me, and it would have been, I was planning, just pour it with the truck, smooth out the top. Figured a little bit of help just guiding the truck into place and having a little bit of help like that. I wasn't expecting to have him pushing a wheelbarrow and dumping concrete and slipping and sliding in the mud and the muck. I don't know, it was a pain. It's still pretty muddy because the ground got tore up really bad by the concrete truck, and then it rained really hard this morning. Woke me up about a half an hour before the alarm went off, and it was pouring rain for at least a half an hour. It's really hard rain, so yeah, all the puddles and everything were filled up. And then after that, the sun came out and it dried up, but it's supposed to rain again tonight and tomorrow morning, and basically intermittent rain every day for the rest of this week. And then next week it's supposed to be sunny and warm all week. So after a day or two of sunny and warm, we should be able to get the concrete truck where we need it. So probably Tuesday afternoon or Wednesday we should be able to get the concrete truck back here. On a little bit brighter note, though, I found a bag or a little seed packet of yellow squash, summer squash, that was I don't know exactly where it came from. Found it laying around, and so I'm just like, okay, I'll plant those, and took them out onto the north side of the berm of dirt that's behind the tire wall, and just stuck seeds in the ground all over the berm of dirt. I think there was 25 seeds in the packet. Well, I noticed yesterday one of them had sprouted, and then today I saw 9 more, or total of 9 of them had sprouted. And it's only been 5 days or so since I stuck those in the ground, and we've got 9 little summer squash sprouts, yellow squash. They're not crook neck; they're a straight neck yellow squash. So, and they said there was only supposed to be 50 days till harvest. That would put us about end of October, 1st of November for a harvest if it stays warm enough. If we get a freeze between now and then, we'll lose the whole thing. But we should, as long as it doesn't freeze before mid to late November, we should be able to get several summer squash. Um, yeah. Other than that, oh, the horses. We got one horse that might be pregnant. Don't know. I guess I could take her in and get her preg checked, but I don't think I'm going to bother doing that. If she has a foal, she has a foal. If she doesn't, she doesn't. So the situation was we had a little colt that was uncut. He was about a month younger than this filly that we've got. Um, Last winter, I think it was over Christmas break. He slipped on the ice. We had a hard freeze, and he slipped on the ice in the pond. And when he slipped, he did the splits with his back legs. Um, they slipped out both directions, and that's a death sentence for a horse. He never got back up, and yeah, and yeah, I don't know how he ended up out on the ice of the pond, but yeah, once he did the splits, he bled internally and died. Um, it was yeah, so I don't know. That's so. Anyways, we know that that horse, the only intact male that our, or the only male horse our filly or mare have been with was that stud colt, and he was, let's see, in December when he died, that would have put him at about 19 months old, so not quite two. But he was old enough to breed, um, and he'd been running with those the mare and the filly basically his whole life. So there is a chance that he bred them before he died, um, but I don't know how high of a chance. Looks like I'm talking to nobody again. So, anyways, we could end up with a baby horse. Um, if we do, that'd be awesome. If we don't, that's okay too. If what I was getting at by saying that is, if she doesn't have a foal by January, then she's not going to have one, because horses are pregnant anywhere from 11 to 13 months, and 11 months would put it basically the end of November, 13 months the end of January. So that's the time frame for a baby, is sometime between the end of November and the end of January. Oh, it's showing nobody connected. Yeah. Weird. What else? Yeah, I just saw your. Yeah, and I guess it's dependent on the breed of horses. Some of them are only pregnant for um, 11 months, and others are pregnant for up to 13 months. And from what I understand, the longer the horse is pregnant, the smaller the baby is going to be, because they end up pregnant longer because the baby's growing slower. Um, so you end up with a very small foal if they're pregnant closer to the 13-month point, or you'll end up with a larger one if they're only pregnant for right at 11. So, but I'm not an expert on horses. That's just what I've found out doing research when that filly was, or when her mama was pregnant. So, but yeah. Anyways, I don't know what else to talk about. That's basically what's been going on with us. I've got to get these buttresses forms braced up a lot better so that we can get the concrete coming next week. I've got to get a chicken coop built and get a run put up for it, and so we have a safe place for the chickens to lay eggs and a safe place for the chickens to go. Yeah, I can do that. I've got a video that's going to come out on Sunday that was me just wandering around the pasture for about 11 minutes following the horses. And I wasn't talking at all on it. It was just showing the horses running around the paddock. Yeah, it's kind of weird. I was getting the cedar posts out of the back of the property that I had cut last winter, and so I had them just stacked up along the fence line, and I went back there and got them out of there today. And for the longest time, the horses were just ignoring me, not paying any mind. But as I was pulling the last 3 posts out with my truck, the horses decided to take off and leave the back pasture and ran up front. And then when I started walking with them, they instead of running towards the back pasture, they ran over to where we have the pond and the side paddock. So that's about I think about a 3-acre paddock. If we open up the front, it's like a little over 4 acres if I open the front part. But anyways, they've got access to about 3 acres it's partially wooded. About a quarter of it's wooded, and there's this small pond, less than an 1/8 acre pond. And that's where they wanted to go. So I figured, you know what, that's where they want to be right now. I'll put them in there for a few days, at least through the stormy weather this week, and maybe beginning of next week I'll go ahead and move them to the back again. They've been in the back almost a month, so it doesn't hurt to get them out of there. I really should probably leave them in this one for the next 3 weeks or 2.5 weeks, but the paddock they're in right now is about 3 acres, and there's not very good grass there. It's mostly weeds with some grass. In the back, they've got 12 acres that's mostly forested, but it's got at least 3 acres of it that's pretty good grass. It burned, almost 2 years ago, and so the grass back there is a lot better than up at the paddock they're in now. Yeah, we had 2 in here for a little bit, back down to 1. Yeah, I'll leave them where they're at for this week, maybe a little longer, and then we'll put them back in the back where they've got better grass again. You're not really worried about the parasite load. Okay. Okay, not really worried about parasite load when they're in that back pasture, because you've got 2 horses and 2 sheep on 12 acres. And there's plenty of room. I think I'm going to end this live stream, and I think we've got somebody pulling up. So, or maybe they were just turning around at our driveway. It sounds like they're driving off now. All right. Yeah. Anyways. Oh. But yeah, it's been a bit of an adventure moving here. Our main house isn't built yet. They're working on it. This is part of it. This is going to be a storm shelter. Got the tire wall up to 8 feet in here. The block wall is up to the 8-foot point all the way around. Door reinforced steel over the top of the block of the door there. I got the bolts in the doorway to be able to bolt a basically a storm shelter rated door on there. Cooling tube going through the berm of dirt. It's buried about 4 feet deep, all the for the basically the full 20 foot length, and yeah. All right. What else is there? Yeah, I don't know. I guess like I said, I think that's gonna be it for tonight. I think I've talked about everything I need to talk about. So, yep, I'm gonna go ahead and end it.